Good morning. Welcome, everyone. My name is Soljay Martinez, and I'm the Education Coordinator at the Annenberg Institute of School Reform here at Brown University. And it is my pleasure to welcome members of our community. We have students, educators, parents, the Brown University community, and to those of you joining us from locations outside of Rhode Island, welcome to our first and hopefully annual Day at Brown, hosted by the Annenberg Institute. You know, when we first envisioned this day exactly a year ago today, it originally entailed welcoming a small group of students from one of our neighboring community schools to spend the day walking the halls of Brown, the quad, perhaps getting a bite to eat at one of our dining halls. And it was our hope that spending a day at Brown would continue to pave the bridge that Brown has attempted to connect with our local schools with college access. As we all know, the global pandemic changed the course of our lives drastically about a year ago. But after every storm, there is a rainbow, and we are happy to have re-envisioned our day at Brown. And because of this, we are able to now welcome and open our virtual campus to all middle and high schools in Rhode Island. We have a full day of diverse experiences that we hope will offer our guests a glimpse into life at Brown University, including the opportunity to escape the Haffenreffer Museum of Anthropology. I'd like to thank the Brown community for its commitment to education, especially that of our Rhode Island students. And a special thanks to the amazing team at the Annenberg Institute for making today possible. With that, it is my sincere pleasure and honor to introduce Brown University President Christina H. Paxson, whose leadership grounds this university in a deep commitment to community partnership and inclusion and access. President Paxson, thank you so much for joining us today and offering our younger student guests here today the opportunity to ask you questions about the Brown University experience.
And thank you so much, Soljay Martinez. You've been such a great support here as we've envisioned and brought together this program. And it's really exciting to be able to talk to middle school and high school students from Providence, Central Falls, Pawtucket, all over the state. So great to see you here. So as you've heard, my name is Chris Paxson, and I am president of Brown University today. I'll tell you a little bit more later about what that means. But I'll just start by telling you a little bit about what you could expect today. And I'm just so excited to have you here with us. And you're really in for a treat. So today what you're going to get is the ability to experience what life is like for a Brown student. Now, not the same as walking the halls and sitting in the classes, but you're going to hear from some of our best professors, and you're going to get a chance to talk to Brown students. Now, many of you are high school students, and you're just a couple years away from going to college. And others of you are still in middle school, and you're thinking about college, but I'm sure it seems still like a really long time off before you'll get to go. Trust me, it will be here before you know it. So it's good that you're thinking about it now and getting a sense of what kind of college would be right for you. My hope for all of you today is that you get a little taste of what it's like to go to college, whether you go to Brown, and I hope some of you do, or another great college or university, and there are so many to choose from in this region and around the country. I want you to be really excited about it because it's a fantastic experience, and it's something that everybody on this Zoom can do if they want to do it. So we have a great program ahead of you today. You're going to hear from a professor who teaches about math and brain science. You'll hear about how researchers use artifacts to study the history of slavery. You'll hear about archaeologists who are uncovering pieces of history that have been buried right here in Providence. And you'll hear about new subjects you might never have heard of before, like Egyptology and Assyriology. So that might be something new. And you'll also have great opportunities to talk directly with Brown students who will share with you why they came to Brown, what their college search looked like. And then you'll have time with advisors who will share some tips on finding the right college for you. And we also have a lot of fun games ahead. So it should be a great day. There's so many great things about going to college. I think one of the best is that you get to decide what subject or subjects interest you the most. And if you don't know what subject that is right away, that's okay too, especially at Brown. We invite our students to experiment, discover, try new things, and find out what they love and what they don't love so much. And that's important information. And you'll learn about where you can make the biggest difference in the world and how you're, as you leave college, what impact you can have on your community and the country and the world. And you'll also develop really great connections to other students, and you'll become leaders. And it's this sort of combination of the knowledge and the ability to build connections, work collaboratively, that really does prepare people for leadership throughout their lives. So college also gives you a special opportunity, again, to build friendships in the classroom and outside the classroom. And you'll meet students who come from very different backgrounds, different walks of life, and people who think differently than you. They may teach you new things. That's a good thing. We have a very diverse community of students at Brown. We value diversity. And I tell students that when they start their time here, they will have some of their strongest agreements with other students who will also become lifelong friends. And that's really great. That's what it's about. So before we open it to Q&A, let me tell you a little bit about what the president of a university does, college or university does. You go to a high school, your high school or middle school, you have a principal. Not really quite like that. So, Brown, just to give you a sense of scale, has about almost 10,000 students. And those are undergraduate students, graduate students who are getting master's degrees and PhDs, as well as students in the medical school and the School of Public Health. So, our students range in age from 18 to, you name it, 50. And we also have about 800 faculty members, and then a lot of support staff, people who are doing all of the work that make a university run. So my job is really to set the vision and direction for the university. What are we going to invest in? What are we going to make really strong? You're going to hear about math and brain science. Brain science is really important at Brown. That's something we've invested a lot in. And I also lead a team of senior people who are in charge of all of these different areas within the university. So, the provost is the person who's really has responsibility for all of the academics, hiring faculty, planning courses, overseeing how departments run their business. And then I have somebody like my vice president for equity and institutional equity and diversity, who's helping us make sure that we have policies and practices to build the most diverse, supportive, inclusive environment that we can at Brown. Those are just a few examples of people on my team, but I can tell you I love this job so much. One of the things I love the most is talking to students, and that means talking to prospective students or young people like you who are thinking of college. I do teach occasionally. This summer, I'm teaching a first-year freshman seminar, which is a small group of 19 brand new college students. And I'm going to be teaching them about the economics of higher education. I'm an economist by training. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm going to teach that class in person, masks on, and some students may have to beam in remotely, but I'm just really looking forward to getting out of my office and back into a classroom and interacting with students. So with that, I'm happy to answer questions. I think, we have people sort of slowly coming in. We only have 12 people in the attendees list right now, which means it's a perfect time. This is like a first-year seminar. You can ask any question you want, anything's on the table. And I'm going to warn you, if I don't get questions, I'm going to call on some of you to talk a little bit about how you're thinking about college. So please share your questions by raising your hand in the Zoom, the virtual raise hand function. And I'm looking at it to see who's raising their hand. We're going to have a 1-minute awkward silence pause while somebody thinks of questions about Brown, about anything.
And President Paxson, if we don't get questions, I have a
Ah,
few that I can.
okay. And we have one. Sophia Hall, can you take yourself off mute and just ask your question?
Hi, my name is Sophia. So I'm a junior at Barrington High School, and I have a lot of things that I'm interested in, but I really don't know what I would like to concentrate on in college, and I'm not sure if that is something I need to worry about or if I have a lot of freedom to explore when I'm a freshman.
Sophia, that's a really, really good question. And, you know, some students know exactly what they want to do. You know, I want to go to a business program. I want to go to train to be a certain type of healthcare professional. That's great. And I want to go into nursing. Fine. But a lot of students who end up going to liberal arts colleges or liberal arts universities like Brown come in with absolutely no idea what they want to do. And, you know, they say in their application, these are the things I'm interested in. These are the things that excite me. These are the things I've done that I'm passionate about. But I don't know whether I want to study history or English or science or whether I want to blend some of those things together. You know, Brown is sort of at one end of the spectrum where students come in, there are no core requirements. You come in your first year, you can take any course in the university you want, and there is no course that you will be forced to take, none. And so we're encouraging students, you know, we love students like you, right? We love students who are intellectually curious and want to explore lots of different areas before deciding what they want to do. So I wouldn't worry about this at all. I also wouldn't worry if you're one of those students who knows exactly what you want to do. That's fine too. So the point is there's so many different colleges and universities out there that, you know, from the liberal arts open type to ones that are more, you know, you apply to major in a certain area. So there's something for everybody. Does that answer your question, Sophia?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Tanisha Peters, and why don't you say where you come from, what school you're in, and what grade?
Hello, it's actually Kenneth. I'm just using my mother's account real quick.
Oh, that's okay. I was going to say your mom's picture looks a little bit older than a high school student, so I was wondering.
Yes, ma'am. I'm in 10th grade, and I'm just actually transitioning to Providence, Rhode Island.
Huh?
So, but I did have
where are you transitioning from?
Tampa, Florida.
Okay, great. Well, welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you. So by the end of my high school career, I'm gonna have my liberal arts AA degree, and I was wondering if I can transfer my credits to Brown.
You know, the credit transfer policy is, I'm not the best person to ask about that. You know, we do let some AP credits come in and things like that. But generally what, you know, the transfer credits, if you get credit for courses, we don't like students to come in and like reduce their time in college. We really like students to have a full at least 3.5, if not 4 years experience at Brown. If you want to know the specifics about transfers credits, what I would do is contact the admissions office, and you can go on the website and maybe somebody can throw it into the chat and they could tell you a little bit more about what counts and what doesn't count. Yeah. But
thank you.
Is that sorry, I don't have a detailed answer, but this is just not, it's complicated. And you need somebody who really knows what they're talking about.
Right.
Okay, but again,
yes,
welcome to Providence.
Thank you so much.
What school, do you know what school you're going to be in?
Either I believe classical or LaSalle, one of those.
Okay, good. Well, again, I hope you enjoy living here. I think it's a great place.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Catherine Faria, am I pronouncing that right, Catherine? Catherine, yeah. Catherine, where did Catherine go? Take yourself off mute. I see you're.
I'm here.
There you are. There you
Sorry.
are.
I was trying to figure out how to unmute.
You did it.
It's Faria. I'm Catherine Faria from East Providence High School. I'm in 11th grade right now.
Mhm.
So I'm planning to like go for like an engineering degree. So I was just wondering like what type of like engineering is offered at Brown?
Yeah. So we have at Brown a School of Engineering, and it's an excellent undergraduate engineering program. Like all concentrations at Brown, like if you were to apply to Brown, you'd say, yeah, I'm interested in engineering. But when you get here, and this is what I think is great about engineering at Brown, you're not just taking courses in the School of Engineering. You're taking, you have time to take classes in poetry and whatever, computer science, physics, things that are aligned with engineering. So it's a very, very strong program. The students get great jobs coming out, but they still get a liberal arts education, which I think is important, a broader education. I'll give you an example of something our students have done, mainly from the engineering school, although other students were involved too, that I thought was so great, which is 3 years ago, and actually it started more than 3 years ago, a group of students decided that they were going to design and build a space satellite for a very small amount of money and launch it. This seemed like a really ambitious thing to do, but they actually did it. And it was cohorts of students working together, and then they would graduate and they'd pass the project to the next group of students. So they launched this satellite that was in orbit around the Earth for, I think, 3 years. And it was beaming down data that was being used in K through 12 education, right? There was a website, you could track it. It was really cool. And the reason why I've been thinking about it is, satellites eventually disintegrate, they burn up in the atmosphere and they come back to Earth. And we celebrated the satellite recently because it stayed up longer than we thought, but it did finally come back and burn up in the atmosphere. But it was great to pull together all of these fabulous Brown, again, mainly engineering students, not exclusively, who had worked on this project over years. Very cool. So is there a specific area of engineering you're interested in?
I'm still trying to figure that out myself because I originally I wanted to go into astronomy because I really like that kind of stuff, but my parents said I need to have like a bit of like an engineering degree type because of like the job I want in the future.
Yeah, well, I mean, so that's something where, a school like Brown would be a good fit for you because you could study engineering and you could take courses in the department that covers astroscience and astronomy. So, and frankly, there's a lot of overlap between those things. So it's not like you would be having to give up that interest by going into engineering.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So any other questions for me, or maybe Ms. Martinez has something? Sophia Hall has her hand up again. Is that right?
Yes, I was wondering if there would be opportunities to do community service work or continue work started or projects started in high school in college.
Mm-hmm. So the answer is yes. And we have so many students at Brown, and this is true for most colleges and universities. We value being parts of our community, and students are really engaged in the community. And it happens in different ways. So there's something called the Swearer Center for Public Service, which is Brown's center that connects Brown students as well as faculty and staff to some extent with community partners. So that, the way we like to do it is, we work with, I don't know, I'm trying to think, Rhode Island Free Clinic or, some other organization in the area. And they come and say, we could really use help from students here. This is how we want to work together. It's tied into what we call engaged scholarship, and we actually have an engaged scholars program, so you can integrate your community service into what you're studying, which is pretty exciting. So a lot of students work through the Swearer Center. There are also opportunities for community engagement through the Annenberg Institute, which is hosting this event. Annenberg focuses on education, and they have an summer intern program for Brown students where they really work on real policy issues affecting K through 12 education. So it's kind of blends research and service. And then students in the School of Public Health also have opportunities. So there are very few students that aren't doing something. It's really quite remarkable. You know, in terms of continuing your work that you started in high school, you know, if you go to college locally, so if you go to Brown or you go to one of the other great institutions in the neighborhood, then you would have the ability to do that. Although you may want to try something new too. So that would be up to you. What kinds of things are you doing now that you're interested in?
I am working on a food drive within my school and also a private effort, the food security initiative that my friends and I are trying to turn into a nonprofit organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's actually a lot of interest, especially right now during the pandemic when so many people have been hard hit in issues of food insecurity. We've been doing things as a university. So for example, we had in the pandemic early on when a lot of people were out of work and unemployment checks hadn't started coming through yet, putting together and donating or dining services, people were putting together food boxes with meals for families in need. And students are really involved in that kind of thing too. So good for you for doing that. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. We may have time for one more question. I think we go till 9. Is that right, Ms. Martinez?
That is correct, President Paxson.
And would you like to, do you think there's I don't see any hands raised. So do you want to?
Yeah, sure. I have a question. I know that many students hear that Brown is a research university. Can you explain for them what that means and some of the current research that Brown is involved in and leading?
Yes. So one of the things I love, that's a great, thank you. One of the things I really love about Brown is it is a research university that takes undergraduate education really, really seriously. So what does it mean? What it means is the faculty, the professors are engaged in research and scholarship in their areas of study, actively engaged. And the reason why I think this is so good for undergraduate education is that means there are people who are working on the forefront of their fields. They bring that knowledge into the classroom and they often engage students in the work. So, you know, I'll give you an example where, again, to come back to brain science, because I know you're going to be hearing about that. You know, we've been doing this great work at Brown with implantable electrical devices that help people who are paralyzed regain the ability to move their limbs and do things simply by thinking. It's astonishing work. But the reason why I bring it up is one of the most important papers that came out of that research project had a long list of authors, like all scientific papers do. One of them was an undergraduate, right? So the undergraduates are there in the labs and they're doing the work. We also have students who are involved in the Center for the Study of Slavery and Justice. They're doing research alongside faculty. So the point is you have opportunities at a research university not just to take classes from people who are at the edges of their scholarship, their fields, and you're going to hear some of them today, but you have an opportunity to work alongside them and really just have a great experience doing it. So I think now, I will say, I actually went to a small college. I went to Swarthmore College. And while I personally am passionate about research universities and all that they offer, small colleges can also be an amazing choice too. And I think what they give is just a smaller, real tight sense of community and often opportunities for very individualized attention from faculty. So again, finding a college is all about finding the thing that's right for you. And, you know, everybody's different. Everybody feels comfortable in different settings. So as you think about college, really start to think broadly about, where am I going to be my best self? Where am I going to thrive? What's the right environment for me? And then start narrowing down from there.
President Paxson, thank you so much for engaging in conversation with our guest today. And to our guests, thank you for asking such poignant questions of President Paxson. So with that said, I'm going to drop into the chat a link to our full day schedule. And once you go to that link, you can access any of our many sessions and experiences that we have throughout the day by simply clicking on the Zoom link access next to each session. So I hope that you have the opportunity to look through our full day and choose Brown experiences that speak to you and are based on your interests. So thank you, and may everyone have a wonderful day at Brown.
Thank you. Have a great day. Take
Thank
care.
you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.